All right, guys, so I have looked and looked to try to find a video that will show you how we do the diamond method problems or the X factor. Can't find one, so I'm going to do some for you. All right, so to set up your problem, I always draw a big X, and on top is AC, and I remember this by attic over basement. And I just think of your house. You have an attic, you have a basement. I try to turn as many things into a little story as possible. So there is your AC and your B. And what I have to look at, and I know these are B's, I would prefer them be X's, but that's okay. My A is the first slot, the B is the second slot, the C is here. So my A is 1, and my C equals 21, so AC is 1 times 21. And you're like, well, that's easy. All I had to do was write 21 to start with. Well, yeah, that's great. And then the B goes to the bottom, that's 10. So once you have this, 21 and 10, then you have to go, all right, I want to figure out how I can multiply to get the top, because it's harder to get up to the attic, so we have to multiply, which is harder than adding. Add to get to the bottom. Add to go down, multiply to go up. Even just a person jumping, it's easier to sit down than to jump up, right? All right, so I like to put the B's on the bottom, and the videos I've seen don't do that. So, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. So we have our B's on the bottom, and then we're going to say, okay, I need the factors of 21. Now, we have another method, and we talk about how to find these factors. So 21 breaks down to 1 times 21 and 3 times 7. And what you want to do is look at these. What will add to give you 10, but multiply to give you 21? Well, as you can see, it's right here, 3 and 7. So this is a 3, that's a 7. My final answer is B plus 3. We call this bottoms up, and then B plus 7. And this is how we do it in class. All right? That's a nice, easy problem. What about a problem that's not so nice? Okay, well, these are from the homework that we did, and so I just pulled some examples. You see that I can't divide all of these by 3. The only common factor is 1. So with that being the case, my A times C is going to equal 3 times 10, negative 10, or negative 30. My B is equal to 13. So I'm going to set up my big diamond. AC on top, B on the bottom, B for bottom, B for basement, whatever it takes for you to remember. And then I'm going to multiply to get the top, add to get the bottom. But what I don't want to forget is this 3x. And I could not find an example of a video already made with something like this happening, that you have a 3 in there. All right, so when I do this, I'm going to take a minute and take this negative 30, and say, what are the factors of 30? 1 times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, and 5 times 6. Those are all the possible factors. All right, so if I have these factors, now I've got to remember this is a negative 30, so I need to subtract to get 13. The reason why I said remember that, if you look at these two values, if you add here, you'll get 13. If you subtract here, you get negative 13. Well, I don't want a negative 13, but I do know that I am going to use 2 and 15. To get positive 13, I need the 2 to be the minus. So 15 minus 2 will give you 13. Lastly, I look at this and say, okay, how will these reduce? 3 goes into 15 5 times. 2 and 3, they won't reduce. All right? Final answer. Here we go. You ready? So I'm going to have 3x minus 2 and x plus 5. Now, see, if I have this 3x down there, it lets me know which one the x gets, because I could understand somebody, if you leave out the x, then you may think it's negative 2x plus 3, and that wouldn't work. While I'm on this one, I want to show you real quick how I double check myself. Oh, well, good. I have a red pen and a green pen laying here. All right, so if I double check myself, I should be able to take these two and multiply them together. That's 3x squared. You get your first term. So you're double checking yourself by multiplying back. If I check the last two, that's negative 2 times 5, negative 10. Guys, I'm 80% sure that my answer is perfect. If I want to be 100%, I check the innies and the outies to see if it gives me the middle number. The innies are the two inside pieces. So negative 2 times x is negative 2x. 3 times 5 is 15x. And if I add these two together, they'll give me my 13x. So now I'm 100% sure, without taking the time to multiply this whole thing out using a box or foil or whatever you're using to get it. Okay? There we go. Hey, I hope this has been helpful. You know what? I will go ahead and set up one more because I know I had a lot of questions on this. So on the back, looking at number 11, I want you to notice that there is a GCF here. My GCF is 3. I would factor out the 3, leaving me x squared minus 7x plus 10. And now I'm just going to tell you, I would take this around and say, I know I'm going to get 3 times something times something. Or I saw one person say, circle it so you don't forget it. Yeah, I've forgotten it too. So then I'm going to set up my diamond method, and I'm going to say, okay, a times c is 10 over b, 7, and my leading coefficient is an x squared, so I'm going to put an x there. And then 2 times 5 is 7. With 10, I don't have a lot of choices. And feel free to write down the numbers if you need to. What are the factors of 10? But since they both have to come out to a negative, negative times negative is still a positive. Now when I add the two negatives, I get this. So I would have x minus 2, x minus 5. All right, guys, I hope that's helpful. Have a great day.